spoken at length on the Comoros game, so I just want us to move a bit forward because of time. Let's auto stakes. So. Yes, like that's the next conversation. Like there's someone asked me, said close your eyes and imagine Ghana in the same group with Brazil. So Ghana, Brazil.
It gonna be some, Norway.
Norway. Ghana, Brazil, Norway, and let's say Spain.
But it's difficult to meet Brazil and Spain at the same time.
Okay, Brazil and Spain not the same, but Ghana, Brazil, Spain, and then maybe another African country.
Anyways, I think Africa too probably. I don't know how the pairing will be that.
If Ghana is in pot 2, Africa in pot 2, it's possible that we can have 2 Africans in one group.
Well, what is it?
Like when you close your eyes, like can Otto Addo do the justice?
Okay, well, I'm seeing some teams that have qualified. Yes, we will see the likes of Uzbekistan coming with Abdo Kusanov leading them. You will have the likes of Iran coming. There are some.
But it's a draw. Sometimes you can just find yourself in an easy group, and then you can also find
it's more difficult. It's easier to win cup competitions compared to a league format competition that takes a long run there. So for the World Cup, I think that it wouldn't be. It's not something that we are Ghana, obviously, but I think that recent stats seem not to have proven right for us there, and obviously, I do agree that. Yes, we have qualified technically, looking at and especially playing at home. Yeah. So you could say that we have gained qualification advance. But the convo about whether we should be able to whether part company with Otto Addo or keep him for the job, I think that is something that would deal with the football makers. Yes, the key people are speaking. I've listened to the sports minister, Honorable Idi Adams, who's currently said that he's not been convinced with the performance of Otto Addo, regardless of the facts or the output that we've seen in the World Cup qualifications. 7 games, with I think 6 wins, a draw, and we scored 22 goals there. I think considered very, very few there.
When it comes to the World Cup qualifiers, there he's.
Yes, this is a green. This is a diamond rated.
Diamond, yes. So
diamond rated.
6 win, 1 draw, I think.
Yeah, obviously. But if you see, I was trying to also compare. This is a qualification to the World Cup. But I look at I'm quick to look at our qualification that. What we fail to qualify to the AFCON, that will be taking place. And no wonder that I listened to the Blaster Management Committee where they are stating that whilst others are playing AFCON as their preparation for the World Cup, we will be doing Japan-Korea as Japan-Korea tour. That means that but probably not even play against the Japan-Korea. It's a tour. So maybe you go and play against Yokohama Mariners or maybe one of...
you're saying something. It can possibly
go to Japan. Go and play against that division, one of the divisions. Let's put it categorically. So if you look at the AFCON, for instance, we were in a group against Angola, Sudan and Niger. Angola, Sudan, Niger.
You know that when the group came out, not to catch, my junior brother sent me a voice note that if we don't qualify for the AFCON in this group, we should stop playing football. Yeah. So did he know that we're not going to qualify?
Well, because ordinarily Niger are a pale shadow, or they are not any football.
No, it's unacceptable. The AFCON that we didn't qualify.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it, and so I try to do comparison of this particular games you played. Is it the case that the World Cup qualification games seem to be easier than that of the AFCON? Or what so? Because Niger and these are teams within the same rank of affairs. Then Niger.
Do you know what actually happened? Otto Addo has struggled with consistent run of form.
Yeah.
So he plays 1 World Cup qualifiers. He does well. Plays the AFCON qualifiers, loses the game or draw, then comes back to win the next, because the AFCON qualifiers and the World Cup qualifiers were intertwining. Yeah. So this international break, you play 1 AFCON qualifiers, 1 World Cup qualifiers. So that has Otto's problem. He has been inconsistent. So he does well in the one game, the next game, draw. Next game, then you go win, draw, win.
But why don't you rather look at it this way? Because in as much as people want Otto to bear the responsibility of failing to qualify Ghana to the AFCON, I think the players themselves do not look like they are up for the AFCON qualification. Actually, you look at their performances in the World Cup qualification, the intensity, the passion, the character they show in World Cup qualification is different from the one they show
during
the AFCON.
Is it the coach? Is it the coach problem or player problem?
No, in as much as I think it's as much the player's problem as the coach's problem. Of course, really? I mean the coach is the leader of the team. He should be able to motivate his players and prepare them for such games. But then once we fail to qualify, it kind of brings this conversation about how we prioritize certain tournaments over some, and how we approach games when it comes to, like what we're talking about earlier on. Mike did allude to the fact that we're only playing Central African Republic, and there is this complacency with Ghanaians when it comes to playing these so-called minnows in football. They feel like, they are just these people, so we should be able to beat them. It is very difficult to beat a Comoros or a Central African Republic than it is to beat Cameroon. Or it's very difficult to motivate players to play against Cameroon.
Yesterday you watched the Australia San Marino.
Yeah, that is you know.
You see, no matter what
that is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You don't say Australia be good. If you say San Marino,
so my argument is that the general Ghanaian approach to games against teams like that is that you expect the Black Stars to beat them, and it kind of communicates a certain level of complacency. So that when the team is blessed with a certain quality and they are very tactically prepared, you find it very difficult to beat them.
So what I'm saying is that
I'm saying that you see when you're playing against Central African Republic,
right?
There is already a motivation for them to impress for the players, because this is a rare opportunity to come up against the likes of Partey, the likes of Kudus, people they watch on TV.
It was a real opportunity for the for who played against Cote d'Ivoire this afternoon. The folks that played against Cote d'Ivoire.
I'm not comparing Ghana to the Ivory Coast. I'm just saying that when it comes to the Black Stars or the Ghanaian attitude towards that game, that's what I'm complaining about. For we need to accept that teams are improving. So when we approach every game, we should approach it like we're going to face Brazil. When we are playing against Central Africa,
but that one is it? I would see that one. Otto Addo also said that same. Then I kind of have problem with that. For a fan, I will always look at my team. If Argentina is playing any country, the Argentine fan would expect Argentina to beat them because we are Argentina. Yeah. It is up to you, the players.
I don't refuse that. I'm just saying sometimes it gets into their. They are humans. See, they are humans. Okay. Like some of these things we talk about outside gets into their head, and you can't take that away from them, because they feel like, I'm playing against Central African Republic. If they score me 2, I can score 3, and by the time they realize they've lost the game, because the people come in prepared, motivated, and all of that. Wow. I'm just saying that if you can sort that out, because you see when we are going to play against Comoros, for example, sometimes I watch games, maybe Barcelona have won the league already and they are playing a relegated side who maybe need the points more than Barcelona need that points. But there is always a reason why Barcelona would want to beat this relegated side, even though Barcelona are not playing for the points or whatever it is, because they've already won the trophy. It is very easy to approach such games with a very relaxed attitude. You understand? That's what I'm saying. That is where we need to work on our mentality when it comes to approaching such games. You should take it like we need to beat them at least for.
What you're saying is right, but it's not for the fans. It's for the players.
In as much as I understand it perfectly that it is the players' responsibility, but it gets into their head whether you like it or not. You understand? We need to start getting ourselves prepared and motivated for games like that. That's my argument. As a fan, as a player, as everybody, let's get our minds. If we are playing against, it doesn't matter whether we are playing. Maybe if someone is saying Otto Addo should rotate his squad, so we lose, give these players opportunity. When we lose, I'm sure we've qualified for the World Cup.
So I would not to stay on game. Now Otto Addo failed to qualify for the AFCON. Didn't win a game. Managed to qualify for the World Cup. Excellent run of form. Best run, I think, in recent times. He's managed to play some good football, scored a couple of goals. We are going for the World Cup. The conversation is straight. Should we go with him, or we should just say senior man? Thank you. Bye bye.
See, if why would you not go with him?
Why should we go with him?
Because he's qualified the team to the World Cup.
No, but it's not about qualification.
He has earned the right to lead the team. I've argued that when you watch the Black Stars, especially in those 2 games that we played in that tournament that was held in the UK, Unity Cup, where he took an entirely different squad to those games. I watched the game against Nigeria. The second half, I had the opportunity to watch that second half against Nigeria. And our second game where we won handsomely, I think against Jamaica. And I was very impressed with the way they played. And then it translated into the current games we are watching as far as the Black Stars is concerned.
Including the Chad one.
Oh, I mean, it happens in football. Sometimes you lose games, you draw games and all of that. The most important thing is that Otto Addo has qualified Ghana to the World Cup. It would be... You don't want to give people an opportunity they don't deserve. Yeah. Okay, the man has worked for it. In as much as we have reservations about how he's managed the team and all of that, I mean, for him to have been able to qualify Ghana to 2 consecutive World Cups shows that he's got something in him that can lead Ghana to
the promised land.
And guided by his previous tournaments, I feel like he will draw on that experience because he actually won a game, unlike in 2014 when we failed to win a game. Our last World Cup, we won a game. Our game against Uruguay, we had an early penalty where we missed that penalty.
I think that Uruguay game, we gave it away.
Yes,
it was just
if we had scored that penalty, we would have been talking about a different game altogether. And we took a very inexperienced squad to that World Cup. And fortunately for us, we are going to our second consecutive World Cup. So we have the benefits of having a lot of the players who featured in the previous World Cup featuring in this World Cup as well. So they would have been counting on that experience. And he himself, as a coach, he was a bit inexperienced as far as that opportunity was concerned. I feel like he would have learned from that experience. And I insist that if you watch the Black Stars, you would feel a certain level of development in that squad. Yeah. And also you can feel that Otto Addo is becoming very familiar with his squad. There is a telepathy building within that squad because quite obviously if you're asked to make a first 11 for him, you can quite easily do it now. Yeah, now because I think he's found a midfield combination. I think Partey and Sibo
usually works.
They complement each other. Because once Partey tries to calm and control the game, you have Sibo who brings energy into that midfield. He gives Kudus the opportunity to do what he can do best up front and add to the attack. So you can feel that the coach has sorted a lot of things out. He's still improving the squad, and against Comoros he has an opportunity to prepare the players in a different game where the expectation is a bit less, but they're expected to win. So all these things count in preparing for a World Cup. And I think, for me, if you ask me, I think he's earned the right to lead Ghana at the World Cup. I have my reservations about him, fine. Everyone has his reservations about him. But to say that we should change a manager, I mean, what does he fix? I don't think it fixes anything. I mean, allow him to go there. If he fails to perform, you have reason to fire him.
So let's look at the I read an article on the Irish Times dated 14th February 20. That was 2006. 14th February is the Valsday, right?
Yeah.
So there was a Valsday surprise, one of the biggest we've seen. That was when Togo had qualified for the World Cup, you know. And guess who it was? It was Stephen Keshi, the Nigerian international, the Nigerian legend. Now, what happened? There's a manager that qualified Togo to the World Cup, and a surprise one as such. Now, they go into the AFCON. That's the AFCON was staged, and guess what? They went in there, lost their game to Congo, against Cameroon, and against Angola. And guess what? That was the announcement was made that Stephen Keshi has been not asked by or has been sacked by the Togo Football Federation. And what was the case? They felt that yes, in as much as he's qualified them to the Mundial, that is, you know, a very big statement. But you look at how he's been able to put a team, the kind of performance he's put in when it comes to the local terrain. And it's not cast in stone that you are going to meet teams that are only coming from different continents. You are going to meet teams that play with a synonymous style of approach, just like the Africans do. So he was sacked from the team. And based on these precedents, that's why I say that I look at Otto Addo, for instance, there. When you're looking at the kind of opposition or the teams you are going to battle against, I have struggled to see his imprint or blueprint on the team personally.
But Mike,
especially with respect to our style of play.
You are relying on Togo's decision to fire Stephen Keshi. When they went to that World Cup, how did they perform in that World Cup?
Let's
We
not
just trying to make an argument
let me make another example.
And I'm saying,
They
sacked Keshi because they wanted to bring a coach who they thought like could have done better at the World Cup. And when they took that coach to the World Cup, how did they perform?
But what I'm saying
they were knocked out from the group stage. And it seems they didn't even earn a point from all their matches.
The MSY situation of Cameroon, of Cote d'Ivoire, when they decided to part company with their coach in the middle of the battle of the AFCON, when they were a host nation, after group stage of game,
he had failed. This is not a question. This is someone who has.
I'm saying failure is when you have gone
justified because he was justified because the resource didn't go his favor. So they had every right. You weren't. No. The issue is
basically what I'm basically trying to say is that this is the first time this happening. I have felt that I have looked at Otto Addo's qualify for the World Cup. No, 22. As you already say, 2006. No.
You don't sack him because they hope so the person will take goal.
They are sacking him because
so when the person will go take goal there, you don't do well.
No, you see, that is why there is probability. We study probability. We look at for instance, there are certain coaches.
Let's make it clear. He would have. I mean, I understand, Mike. You don't agree that Otto, but then don't fall on people that have tried and failed. In fact, you are even vindicating my position that Otto should not be sacked. Yeah, because the fact that you take you sack a coach and appoint a new one doesn't mean that you perform at the World Cup. That is my point.
Qualifying Ghana to the World Cup, it's basically no news. I can tell you first. I'm coming. When we played against Car, when he played in the game, tell me wherever you watched the game that whenever we scored a game, you heard any goal shout in any community fan yourself. It was even strange there were people who didn't even know that Ghana was playing the game. But much back to 2006, when we were having our first qualification to the World Cup, it was such that students were closing. If you have a game at 3, students will close at 2. I was in JHS around that time. It is no news now for Ghana to qualify to the World Cup. 2006 were there, 2010 were there, 2014 were there, 2018 Russia. Vladimir Putin we couldn't go. It's no big deal anymore. I'm telling you, he's not the first person to have done it. We've seen the likes of CK, what was the name? Kwesi all do singing for the country. So it is not news when you qualify us to the World Cup. If you are failing to beat, if you are not able to beat the likes of Angola, the likes of Niger, to be able to get to the AFCON. Look at the AFCON trajectory. Since 2008, we've always been a consistent. I think we've made it to semi-final for this about how many times? 6 times.
Until the last 2 editions.
2010 and 2015, we were in the finals. But what has been our journey? The last edition or the last two edition, we exited at the round of 16.
Yeah, round of 16.
That was the kind of second. Then in the next competition, we exited at what?
Group stages.
We were at the group stage.
And then
the very next of it. If you're not able to do well at where your peers or colleagues are finding
was it also that led us to that?
But he's just trying to make an argument.
No, I'm trying to say that is how bad our decline has been. So if you want to
so it is not an auto problem.
No, I'm saying that if you want to go to the World Cup, and we need the likes of South Africa are taking the likes of Hugo Broos there, where even the likes of Uzbekistan are going in for the likes of Fabio Cannavaro, somebody that has. I'm coming. You can't compare any. Don't try comparing Otto Addo to Cannavaro.
Otto is a better coach than what has he done? What is his pedigree as far as coaching is concerned? What is Cannavaro's pedigree? He's only ever won the Ballon d'Or. But in terms of coaching, what has he done? He has not made any significant contribution in terms of pedigree, in terms of coaching. Otto is a coach that has been tested and qualified Ghana to the World Cup. So don't compare his pedigree to that of you are just putting Cannavaro above Otto Addo because he's won the Ballon d'Or. In terms of significance as far as I'm saying in terms of what Cannavaro has achieved in football, you can't put Otto close to him.
No.
What I'm saying in terms of their coaching career, to say that Uzbekistan are going to appoint Cannavaro, so Ghana should go and appoint Cannavaro, and it's a level above Otto Addo. That can never be true. And also let me make something clear. You see, we had coach we had a coach who had ever coached in the top flight of English football. We had him, he was ever a coach of Newcastle, he was ever a coach of Brighton. Yet he took us to the AFCON and failed to qualify beyond the group stage of that tournament. So very clearly, there is a problem that is not an auto problem.
No, it's an auto problem.
Let me tell you. This is
the
where
Black Star team that you and I, if you get on, I can coach the Black Star team that we have here. These are players that These are players.
Like this, I will go to.
No.
that was the
Black Star team.
Oh no, it's not true.
No, listen.
We're having a conversation on TV. This is a conversation we are having outside TV. If we're having this normal conversation outside, no. These guys don't compare.
You see,
for what at least according to respect. According to respect. That is why I don't want to
Wait, you guys
it's such a game that
take your time. One at a time.
There's even between you coaching juvenile players and you coaching experienced players. How many times do these players meet to play games? They just meet for just 1 or 2, just 3 days. They go and play games. I can tell you that it's not the coach, it is about the quality we have in our team. All he needs to do is that he should be able to get to feel the right players. No, I'm not saying you don't need a coach. No, I can never say that. But what I'm saying is that these are players that you don't need to teach them how to play.
Yeah.
You don't need to teach Semenyo how to play. No, you don't need to teach Kudus how to play. You don't need to teach Pate how to play. It's all about they getting their team chemistry or team bond or cohesion at its peak, and that is what you need to. In fact, if you beat Car, if you are beating Comoros, if you are beating these guys there, I can tell you for a fact that you've not been tried and tested. Unless you're able to go to beat the nations that have become prominent names in football. Because look at our FIFA ranking compared to the likes of Car, compared to the likes of Comoros, compared to the likes of Chad. Chad are struggling for even bread and butter matters in their country. We saw one country, I think one of their qualifiers, was it Equatorial Guinea? They said don't play.
Yeah.
They said not go play because the MC say Charlie,
they will just waste resources.
They waste resources. So if you are playing against these nations that they can't even talk about their, what is the biggest footballing export of Chad? What is the biggest footballing export of, if you put only Kudus Mohamed, he's more expensive than the whole team of Chad.
So for my
so I'm saying that I am actually convinced by Otto Addo's performance. I feel that going into the World Cup, we would need somebody who has, why would Brazil cough out $9.6 million to make what's the guy's name? Ancelotti, the most expensive national team coach, even beyond that of Thomas Tuchel and that of a lot of coaches there. Not because he do, but because of the personality he brings. He brings a lot of calm and a lot of composure to the technical or to the bench of the Seleção. Because if you have a certain Vinicius Junior, if you have a certain Richarlison, if you have a certain Rodrigo, Estevao, and all those guys in there, you just need somebody who is experienced, who give so much respect to, not because of technical ability. These are guys that
but you think that Obi Mobi Kika, how do you say it in Hausa? Like Otto Addo has done the job.
Yeah,
and
Monkey no go work.
Otto Addo has done the job. He has qualified the team. He has earned the right.
I mean, beyond that, you see,
you have also
there is not necessarily impressed. But there is this, I don't know, but there is this disrespect for his coaching ability that I don't seem to get.
Because
let him.
He was the least qualified for the position.
You said he's the least qualified.
He was not qualified at all.
He wasn't qualified, yet he qualified Ghana to the World Cup.
Which one is different?
No, I'm saying yet he qualified Ghana to the World Cup. He was least qualified. He qualified us to the last World Cup we played in. He was the
referring to this particular one.
So yes, he was the least qualified, yet he qualified Ghana to the World Cup. He went to win a game at the FIFA World Cup. He was in a group with South Korea. What is Saudi Arabia doing? What's the name? Uruguay and Portugal. Portugal at that World Cup were a lot of bookmakers' favorite to win that World Cup. He was in the same group with Portugal. We saw how the game against Portugal went. Okay, then we had a game against South Korea where we won, and then he played against Uruguay. We had a penalty. We would have been talking about a different game. Perhaps he could have even qualified to the next stage of the competition, but that's a conversation for another day. I am saying, for whatever reservations you have about Otto and what he's done, you can't disrespect him to the extent of comparing him to juveniles as far as coaching is concerned. You saw to draw parallels between what Togo did, which backfired, and asking Ghana to toe the same lane. And I'm saying it didn't work for Togo when you are alluding to Togo. when they decided to fire Stephen Keshi, who showed that he has what it takes to qualify him to the World Cup, at the time, a lot of people had criticized that decision, and they sort of vindicated people who disagreed with the decision to fire Stephen Keshi when they went to the FIFA World Cup.
But
when they went to the FIFA World Cup,
but there have also been,
and I'm saying those examples were justified because results weren't going in the favor of the then coach. But in this case, I'm saying it doesn't matter, and they didn't get the decent performance.
I think you guys have made your
didn't get that decent performance. I'm just saying. You decided to fire a coach who had done the hard work of qualifying you to your maiden World Cup.
Yeah.
You fired him and chose someone who didn't even know the sweat of qualifying for that World Cup. And you went and embarrassed yourself at the FIFA World Cup. And then you sought to draw that as a guide for why Ghana should fire Otto Addo. And I'm saying that even vindicates me, because if they had tried and failed, why should Ghana try that? Why should Ghana take that step?
Well,
allow him to go to the World Cup.
Let's see what happens.
Let's say he has had a fair opportunity. Everyone has given him the opportunity to thrive and excel. But unfortunately, based on these results, he couldn't justify why we should continue with him as a coach. Yeah. We have a very strong squad, very young, and have a lot of potential to grow and do well.
Right.
So I believe that we can go far regardless of whoever is the coach of the Black Stars. So for me, Ghanaians should accord Otto Addo some respect. He has qualified Ghana to 2 consecutive World Cups, and he deserves that respect for doing so.
Yeah,
it is not easy to qualify Ghana to the World Cup.
Personally, to be honest, I think Otto Addo deserves some respect. That one is true. Like, he may not be your Ancelotti or Thomas Tuchel or tactical brain, but the fact that he has been able to qualify us to the World Cup in this manner, he deserves the respect.
Against Shad, Comoros,
but two rights can
but that's a Portugal place against
it's okay. Two rights can exist. First of all, he failing to qualify us to the AFCON was bad. It was disastrous. Like, there's no amount of words that can replace that, and he has to admit it. And I think he knows that failing to qualify for the AFCON was bad, and it's on his name. However, being able to turn this around and qualify us to the World Cup, he deserves the credit for it. Those two things can exist. Personally, I am not really a fan of how he has coached the team in recent times. However, that doesn't mean that I think we should sack him, because the fact that he's been able to go through the qualifiers, we had every opportunity to sack him when we failed to qualify for the AFCON. We didn't sack him. Now he has turned this around and he's doing something good. Maybe what we can do for him is to perhaps give him a more experienced heads around the technical team as he goes for the World Cup, because this is a World Cup, it's a tournament. You can sometimes increase your technical team, get in quality brains, help him do the scouting. Obviously, every other person that has been around the team, they've been. I think the addition that they made in the technical team, and then the addition of they've been great. And for me, our run in the World Cup qualifier has been excellent. You can't say that after he has qualified us to the World Cup, we just say thank you and go and bring another person. And I have this controversial take. I think that is when we are putting emotions aside and we are sticking. But that one it can backfire, because it can backfire. So it's always good that you stay with Otto, because, and also I think Ghana not qualifying for the AFCON helps Otto Addo in this case. Yes, because if you bring another coach, there's no major tournaments for the coach to use to test the team. Imagine if we had an AFCON coming. We can say, let's sack Otto, bring a new coach. The coach uses the AFCON to test the team, and then there's a World Cup. But this time around, there's no AFCON, there's no major tournament. So Otto Addo has like free opportunity to stay around. So for me, I think those little things are running in his favor. And if we are going to be honest, in our last 3 games we've played, there's been some small improvement. And I've always said that Otto Addo was lucky. Life is about chances. You get somebody who likes you, gives you a job that you may not be qualified for it. It's not your fault, but it's up to you, the individual, to perform and make sure that you make the person who gave you the job proud. Yes, he failed somewhere at the AFCON, but the World Cup he has done well. It's up to him, Otto Addo himself, to be consistent and learn very quickly and be good at the Black Stars job. He has good things in him that with time he can grow. Is the Black Stars team the right material for him to grow with it? Time